When a baby elephant lay down and didn't wake up, the mother became worried that something was wrong. But what the mother did next will truly shock and leave you speechless. This incredible story took place in the Prague Zoo, located in the capital of the small Central European country, Czech Republic. There was an elephant enclosure in the zoo with several large Indian elephants. The enclosure itself was spacious and expensive, providing the elephants with plenty of room to roam and enjoy themselves. Two of the elephants they had there were a large female named Janita and her male partner Mekong. The two had fallen in love from the very beginning, from their first meeting. And it didn't take long for Janita to become pregnant. The zoo staff were overjoyed to welcome a baby elephant to their facility. However, it would take a whole 2 years, but that time flew by quickly. Soon after, Janita gave birth to a male named Max. Some people called Max the miracle elephant because he was the first of his kind to be conceived and born in the Czech Republic. Since its opening, the zoo had 8 elephants, but none of them had ever given birth. This was a significant step in conserving the Indian elephants. Unfortunately, their natural habitat is being destroyed at an alarming rate, and without the help of zoos like the one in Prague, elephants would likely face extinction. Max was enchanting and a hit not only with the zookeepers but also with the visitors. The cute little elephant would follow his mother, play at the watering hole, and roll in the mud. It was as if Max was more like a dog than an elephant. He would often approach the glass separating the visitors from the animals and playfully tap it with his trunk. Like all children of every species, Max was curious and playful. He loved not only running around and unleashing his youthful elephant energy, but also exploring and discovering new things. From the moment he woke up to the second before he fell asleep, Max was always on the go. This was just right for the animal caretakers because they knew he was fit and healthy, and also that this adorable new addition to the family delighted the visitors. Elephants are typically calm and relaxed creatures. Seeing a young one freely roaming and playing all day was the highlight of the visit for many visitors. Both children and adults would cheer him on every time he learned a new skill or discovered something exciting in his enclosure. At the end of the day, Max was like a human baby, just bigger. His days were somewhat similar, but he always found something new and exciting to do. However, one day something very unusual happened. It was mid-afternoon and Max was playing as he did every other day. Janita had an eye on him, but suddenly he went to a shady spot and lay down on the ground as if he were exhausted. At first, no one thought much of it and believed it was all part of his play. But after a while, the elephant mother became very worried. She slowly approached Max with a nervous look, as she was a very protective mother. Being her first child, she was especially cautious. The longer Max stayed on the ground, the quieter the crowd of visitors observing the elephants became. They were all waiting for Max to get back up, but he remained still, lying down. Janita nudged him with her trunk and foot as if trying to wake him up. But it only got worse when Max started twitching on the ground. Janita circled around her son as if trying to figure out what was wrong with him. It was evident that the elephant mother wanted to help her baby, but there seemed to be nothing she could do. All she could do was nudge him and stroke him with her trunk, trying to lift him up. But all her efforts seemed to be in vain, as Max didn't react at all. Strangely, none of the other elephants in the enclosure seemed as concerned as poor Janita. Even Max's father remained at a distance and seemed unwilling to intervene. They all just stood there observing the situation from afar. No one approached to help or see what the problem was. They simply waited and patiently watched the elephant mother's reaction. The zookeepers found this behavior very strange because elephants would typically help and protect each other when in distress, as Janita clearly was. The rest of the herd would rush in and try to help in any way possible. Janita nudged her child again to try to get him to stand up, but nothing seemed to help. She pushed him harder and more aggressively, but Max only twitched and then went still again, as quiet as a stone. Various thoughts ran through the zookeepers' minds. Perhaps Max was dehydrated after hours of playing under the sun, or had injured himself and couldn't walk anymore, or maybe he was weakened by an illness. They simply didn't know. But then something happened that left everyone in disbelief. Janita turned away from her son and looked towards the crowd of people, where several zookeepers were also watching with great concern. She raised her trunk and waved as if to get the attention of the staff. Perhaps they could help poor Max. Everyone was shaken by her foresight to seek the assistance of humans. The zookeepers wasted no time and quickly entered the large elephant enclosure. Many of the other elephants kept a safe distance, and even Janita stepped back as the staff approached Max. Still twitching on the ground, Max watched them with pleading eyes, hoping they could help. Things didn't look good for her son. The zookeepers tried nudging Max to get him to stir and perhaps stand up, but it didn't work. They applied even more pressure, hoping for a reaction, but it seemed futile. Just as things looked darkest, broad smiles spread across the zookeepers' faces, and they let out a sigh of relief as Max got up, ran around and played as if nothing had happened. It turned out the little elephant just needed a nap and had fallen into a very deep slumber from which not even his mother could wake him. It was only through the efforts of the staff that he suddenly awakened. The other elephants had understood Max's peculiar behavior and supported Janita by remaining calm and relaxed. The young mother was overjoyed and lovingly caressed her son with her trunk. Before the staff left, she waved to them in gratitude with her trunk, even though it was just a harmless reason for Max lying down there. Nevertheless, she was grateful for their help.